did the other one.
I'm going to do it again the next day.
Oh yeah, both of them.
Yeah.
And see, for me, the main, because I went down. I mean, I went in shock, and when they rushed me by ambulance to the hospital once I got down the mountain. But
Mine was, for some odd reason, my body just like doesn't swell. It takes it's like all of the injuries that I've had or something. My body's like,
Oh, maybe I don't have it. It helps if you push the right button. I haven't done this enough times. I need practice. Welcome, welcome to the regular board meeting of November 15th, 2018. Dr. Morrison is on her way, but we'll proceed. Are there any public comments, Mr. Gates? All right. I would ask that the board approve the minutes of the meeting of October 18th, 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Dr. Evans. Any corrections or additions, comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, we'll go on to board and committee reports. The governance committee did meet and reviewed and vetted the agenda that we're using tonight. Mr. Greenhill, do you have an audit committee report?
Okay, I'm sorry. Yes, we did. Our Finance and Audit Committee did meet last week, and James Fisk from Weaver in Tidwell came to discuss with the committee the annual the audited financial statements, and he went through it with a great deal of detail. And should I make a what we did was, what the way this works is that after discussion, the committee can recommend that the audit be received by the board and then adopted when it's completed, unless there is a material change of some sort. And James Fisk is here to from Weaver to discuss in not as much detail the audit, and then I will make a motion, I would guess, at that time after he makes his discussion.
Okay, Mr. Fisk, would you like to approach the podium?
Good evening. Thanks for having me here. As Mr. Greenhill said, we did talk in detail through the draft report that you've got in front of you. So because of that, I'm going to be really high level. But if anybody has any questions that I don't hit on, please let me know. You'll see there on page 1 that we do plan to express an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. And then getting to the statements themselves, I'm really just going to focus for the most part on one big thing, because it is kind of a big thing, and that's one significant change this year in the district's financial reporting as compared to prior years. And that's because of an accounting rule change for other post-employment benefits, which they refer to as OPEB. So the accounting rules changed for that effective this year for the college. And what this rule did for OPEB, it's the same as what was done for pensions, if you remember 3 years ago. When I was here for fiscal year 15, we talked about this big pension liability suddenly appeared that was not there before, and it was because of this accounting rule change. It's really kind of a very similar concept for OPEB liabilities, which is mainly going to be post-employment health insurance benefits. So that rule applies not only to all Texas community colleges, but to all governmental units, throughout the country. So everybody's on the same playing field there. Everybody's implementing it now. So that liability, you can see on the statement of net position at the end of fiscal year 18 was $134 million. And the effect of implementing the rule on beginning net position was $156 million. So what they do is have you apply the accounting as if it had always been done that way at the beginning of the year. The district was not required to restate 2017, nor did the district have the information to do so because the information comes from ERS. And so ERS just gave the information for fiscal year 18, which is all that's required. So it is kind of an odd year if you're looking at the statements in that it's really not apples to apples. You've got a big OPEB liability this year that wasn't there last year, but that's appropriate implementation of this standard. It's just kind of an oddball year.
For those of people who are interested, there is a significant difference between this rule, how it applies to our community colleges and other colleges, and to what is going on with some cities in regard to pension liabilities. Could you go over that just for a second?
Sure. Yes, this is not an unfunded liability in the same sense as you may have seen in the news for other governmental entities in probably a very negative and dire circumstance or tone. This is really a different situation. Usually that's kind of framed in pension plans. Maybe a governmental entity has a large unfunded pension plan. This is really a different situation. This is not the college making payments to retired employees directly. This is the college is part of a state-level program. The state picks up a substantial portion of the tab, but the district is making all required payments under that plan to the state. So it's really a fundamentally different situation than you might have seen in the news. And then another couple reminders about this. This doesn't change anything as far as what the district actually has to pay for these benefits or will pay in the future. This is only an accounting rule change, doesn't affect cash flow or anything along those lines.
Thank you.
Yeah, the state is implementing something like this is a little complex. The state's actually still putting out some information clarifications and such. So there could be some tweaks, but we don't expect any material changes before this report is finalized. And one last thing to point out about this, even after implementing this accounting change, the district's got positive unrestricted net position at the end of the fiscal year of $79 million, which, the results are not in across the state, but my guess is that's not going to be the situation for the majority of Texas community colleges. Most expected to go into a negative unrestricted net position after implementing this change. Tarrant County College did not, so that's definitely a positive. So getting beyond that, just a couple of bullet points. Our report does not reflect any material weaknesses in internal control, and it does not note any significant compliance issues related to federal and state grants. One page that I like to point out is on, Roman numeral 9 is the GFOA Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. The 26th straight year that the district has gotten that award. They don't hand them out for free. They take your book and they take their long checklists and go down them and make sure you got things in order. So that's a good testament to Mark, Nancy, Stan, Lindsay, and your entire team. Does anybody have any questions about the audit or anything that I didn't cover?
Thank you.
Why am I the only one who doesn't have a copy?
Oh.
It's what? Sorry. You know what? I bet I took it in the other way and I didn't realize what was in there. Sorry. I thought maybe there was chocolate in there.
It's okay.
Thank you, Mr. Fisk, and all of your people. We appreciate our relationship and partnership with you. Okay, Mr.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I make
Please.
a motion to receive the comprehensive annual financial report for Tarrant County College District for the fiscal years ended August 31, 2018 and 2017.
And it comes from the committee, so does not require a second. Are there any questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The report is received. Thank you again. All right, trustee activities. Dr. Evans, you want to start?
Sure, I will start. I had the opportunity to participate with my other board members in the American Association of Community College Trustees and Leadership Congress that took place in New York City. Our theme was partnerships, building blocks to student success. I was able to attend several sessions, in particular, three that I'd like to highlight. One was the culture, communication, commitment equals student success. And in this particular session, it provided information on how a rural community college in Florida significantly increased its enrollment through a focused student success model. And they've increased their enrollment by 24%. Of course, the national average is a 13% decrease. And one of the ways that they did that, trustees, is that the trustees themselves hosted outreach programs in local high schools that was facilitated, of course, by college staff, and that garnered, of course, student attention, and it lifted enrollment. That was one session. The other was the federal legislative priorities, which I thought was very important. Of course, it was a week or so right before the general election, the midterms, and the focus there was attempting to craft positions based upon who would actually win the House of Representatives and the Senate. And I think it's going to make our meetings in D.C. in February even more important in regard to advocacy for DACA and the federal Pell Grants. The other was connecting students with services they need and how corporate partnerships help students to succeed. A few bullet points from that these colleges, they came together. This particular session was moderated by the president and CEO of the ACCT. And one of the things that I thought was interesting was how colleges are determining the employment needs in their region and how they offer those particular courses that fit those needs, and for those courses that college does not need, they just terminate them. They don't spend much time with those. The others is schools do well to have a robust online presence, and we're doing that, which allows the college to have a mobile presence. I think that's important. The other is to bundle social services that provide a one-stop shop for our students. So based upon their needs, they have one place to go to, and those needs are met. We also talked about a campus management corporation, and this service provides matches to students to the regions of the country, the entire country, where certain skills are needed. So after students complete their particular program, they are given direction and places to go where they can actually be employed. And finally, one that I thought was important was the Single Parent Opportunity Center. And this is a place where both parent and their children, parents and children, receive tutoring for school, which I think is important. I'm a product of a single parent myself, and it helps to lighten the load off of that family. So mom or dad, the single parent, can get tutoring as well as their children. So by the time they get home, they can go to bed. So again, I appreciate the opportunity being able to participate in ACCT and the things that we learn. And Dr. Patrick even made mention of the fact that one of these occasions we ought to be able to present ourselves because of the great things that we do at Tarrant County College. So, and I look forward to that opportunity. So that's my report.
Thank you for going on the trip and spending those days and for bringing us back the news. Mr. Greenhill?
I too attended the ACCT conference, and we do. Is my mic on? Okay. Thank you. Yeah. My preacher voice, my lawyer voice. We have in the past made presentations, at least two of them, I think. One of them was in a place where none of us could find it in Dallas. I remember that, and no one came. But it was you had to go through, it was awful. But anyway, we Well, I'm not supposed to tell it. No, I mean, it was a very difficult place to be. But anyway, we do give them. I too attended I focused on legislative priority sessions. I also attended a session put on by Lone Star College regarding their putting on a very successful $430 million bond issue and the politics and other things that are involved, working with the rating agencies and so forth. I found that very interesting. I also was the moderator in a CEATL, this is our statewide organization, presentation. It was called Strength in Numbers, Utilizing Full Force of Community College Associations in the Political Arena. Basically what that was how the three organizations that CEATL, the TACC, which is the professional organization, and your teachers as an organization, came together for a unified legislative priorities agenda that is now, we're all on the same page, and this is what we're going to use in the future. That was, in addition to me, was Carol Scott from Del Mar College, and Roberto Zarate from Alamo, and Jeanette McCone from McClendon College in Waco. We also did some politics. At the Western, we have what's called the Western District Caucus. I was a, quote, teller, end quote, at that one, and Teresa Ayala was, you were elected, you're on the nominating committee, remember? Yes, you were on the nominating committee, and we discussed that you should be put up as a candidate for the diversity committee next year. We'll talk about that. But unfortunately, Trustee Heed had to go off because he was not eligible to run again for the nominations committee. I think we should have had a rule of order, but we didn't do that. Dan Mims was elected from Sanjac. He was elected as a director of an at-large director, and so that was a good thing. And then we, at another political event, we went to the Senate, at which time Alton Smith from Lone Star College was elected to the board of directors of ACCT. So the point being that Texas trustees are becoming more and more involved in the national process with the ACCT. I also, last Saturday, spoke to the doctoral candidates in the John Roach Graduation Center Community College Leadership Program. It's called the CCLP. I had to look that up, with the National American University in connection with the Governance Administration course. Dr. Giovannini was there to back me up, and he did so. Is Diana Urrutia here tonight? She said she was going to come. Diana, well, stand up. Diana was there, and she's a doctorate degree, and we had a very good discussion. We had a very good discussion about how the trustee organization, how we work and what we do, and I think it was a good give and take. Basically, I told them what trustees do and should not do, and one of our major jobs, of course, is advocacy. I attended the, there's our picture that was taken while we were doing this presentation. I did not, behind me is the script, and I did not keep to the script, which is usual. I did attend the Veterans event at the Trinity campus. I think it was day before yesterday, or yesterday. It's a breakfast. And also had a very nice meeting with the Pre-Law Society people from Northeast Campus, I believe it is. Northwest Campus, and some with the South Campus, and Pete here, and the president of the South Campus, about pre-law society and trying to make a pathway, some sort of pathway to going to law school. And my job is going to be to put together an advisory committee of lawyers to and other people to kind of help out in this regard. And that's my report. Sorry, so long, but busy month.
I'm only going to talk about what I did today, so I know I'm going to miss some engagements that I've had. This morning, I joined the Fort Worth Housing Solution in celebrating their 80th anniversary and dedicating a beautiful new facility at 5210 Azle Avenue. So I was able to visit with some of the residents there about potential opportunities with Tarrant County College for themselves and their students. Also then went to the South Campus for a procedural justice conversation with the chief of police, with the police department. Fort Worth is one of 6 cities in the nation participating in this, and they schedule those meetings every month, and the chief had wanted to have one on South Campus, so our staff rushed to make that space available to them in the very beautiful technology building. There were students there from the Men of Color program, partnering agencies such as Catholic Charities, the UNT Health Science Program, several advocacy agencies that serve as people, as well as other community groups, Commissioner Brooks's office, from Fort Worth ISD and others. Very great conversation, very important. The students had very good questions, and it was very good participation. It went from 12 to 3:30 or 4. Then finally, I have enjoyed celebrating across the community with the success of the RIDE program. And I was very happy to celebrate with the Fort Worth Mayor's Disability Committee for the inclusion of the paratransit services in the Free Rides program, and have been very pleased to see all the great press that we've gotten, the great usage, and we have, Dr. Giovannitti, you're to be congratulated for that. The community is just tremendously excited and pleased about it. So those just a few of my engagements, and thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Heed?
Yes, thank you. 5 of our trustees attended the conference, the ACCT conference in New York City, and with the Chancellor. And I want to begin by just saying it's a tremendous benefit to us to be able to go to conferences like that, because that's where you learn the best practices of the community colleges from all over the United States. It's just a tremendous opportunity, and it does get, you know, we know it costs money, but I think every dollar is worth it. We all learned something. Everybody went to all the sessions they could attend, different sessions, the things that interested them. And I think that's very, very important for the board and for our college. I attended every session that related to business relationships established by the college, you know, for all kinds of reasons, because that's where our chancellor is going. We talk about our goal as being student ready. We also have to be ready for the new whatever company it is that's coming into town that needs our help. And it's right now it's more or less a one-man job, and we've got to expand that. We've discussed this, but all these other colleges have a group. They even have a vice chancellor that's in charge of, or even a vice president that's in charge of new relationships, corporate relationships, and how, if you get a prospect come in, what do you do with that person? I mean, how do you handle it? And it involves the whole college. I mean, it's not a one-person job. It's not just curriculum. It's everything from contributions, scholarships, internships, the curriculum, and all kinds of things on how we can establish a good working relationship with the businesses that are coming into our community, and also working with those that are here within the community. So very interesting, and different colleges do different things, but it's very, very good work. And then I do have to report on a couple things. One, it's kind of fun. But last board meeting, I talked about the wine dinners that we've been having at Southeast Campus. And first of all, I want to thank Dr. Coppola and his staff. And it was just a wonderful function. We started out in the Learning Commons, which we call the elevated sticky space. But it was a rainy day. It was kind of nasty, but everybody showed up except one person. Her husband couldn't get home in time. But the students, it was the best wine dinner that we've ever had over there, and they really stepped it up a notch. All the students participated in preparing the food, and they worked on it for the whole semester. And the purpose of this was, number one, is to raise money for scholarships for culinary arts students. And we raised roughly about $5,000. And we do this twice a year, and we're going to do it every year that we're able to do it. We started out in the Learning Commons, and which was wonderful the way it was set up. We had microphones, people could talk, and this kind of thing. And then we walked through where they have the mural now. There's a mural that everybody's so proud of that has it's related to culinary arts and how you get started and all the way up through producing the actual meal. And that was wonderful. And then we wound up, and of course, in the dining area that they function. Anyway, the food was excellent. The service was incredible. The whole experience was fantastic, and as we always agree, the best part of it is when the students come out. We got them a microphone this year so we could hear what they're saying, and they talk about their goals. They talk about what they want to do with their lives. That's it really touches you in your heart. That's as I like to say, that's one of my paychecks is to hear those folks. What do the scholarships mean? Well, this is a segue onto the next subject, and that is the TCC Foundation luncheon that I attended. They had to drag me out of the operating room to get there, but I was not going to miss that. And I had the opportunity to sit with 3 of our scholarship recipients, 2 from the Rotary Wine Fellowship Scholarship Program, and the other from the Shenda Rhodosaire, which is the highfalutin one that we went to last a couple of Fridays ago. And I always ask the students, as I said the other day, what does a scholarship mean to you? Because every single one of those students qualifies for financial aid, which gives you an idea where they're coming from. And I said, well, what does a scholarship do for you? So you get financial aid. What does a scholarship really do for you? And they all say, without that, we couldn't make it. We couldn't attend full time. And 3 recipients that were of all different kinds of walks in life and different ages and this kind of thing, which is typical of culinary arts students. But they all said without that scholarship, they just couldn't get to where they want to go. And the other thing is where you're going to be in a couple of years, and some of them want to go in a career in this area. Some want to start their own businesses. It's all very, very motivating, but they're all got fires in their eyes, and they're all going to do some good things. So just to meet with these folks is just incredible. So I appreciate all the work that Southeast Campus does and the culinary arts program. I think we're all in this together, and to help those students is a tremendous opportunity. And then at the scholarship banquet, Joe, how many attendees were there? 200-300 at least. And these are only for the donors who have a named scholarship, because there's not room for anybody else. And as I talk to these students, they just express their total appreciation for the college and all their professors and what they've done to help them to get to this level. The only negative note, and this is no reflection whatsoever on the foundation, but there was one of the students at our table that her sponsors were not there. And she obviously had some kind of a self-image problem and hard to express herself a little bit. And her sponsors didn't show up. And to me, it's an honor to be there. And I don't know what you could do about that, Joe. There may have been a good excuse. Somebody may have died in the family. Who knows? But to be there with the recipients of what you're trying to do with your contributions, it's something you shouldn't miss. And if anybody ever has that opportunity, don't ever miss it. I know that we all feel the same way. What else? Oh, and then last Saturday, we fortunate, and thank you again for the use of the facilities on the Trinity River campus. We interviewed 6 candidates for the Rotary Global Grant Scholarship, which is a minimum $30,000 scholarship for a post-baccalaureate student to attend a college or university outside the United States in his or her field. The key words are significant outcomes and sustainability, and you've got to demonstrate largesse in both those fields. And all candidates were good. We had a lot of our presidents participate in that. I really appreciate that. Thanks for taking your time to do that. Thank you, Sean, for providing the facility and the lunch. Everybody commented on that. That was really nice. But we interviewed these candidates, and it was tough because they were all good. But what was interesting to me, and of course I've been promoting this for years, ever since we've been doing this, is that try to get somebody that's been touched by TCC. And actually we had 2 of our 6 candidates had gone to Tarrant County College, and 2 others had gone to another community college in another part of the country. So that was kind of interesting. And one of the ones that won graduated cum laude from TCC, graduated from TCU cum laude, or magna cum laude in one of them, cum laude, and he's going to be something fantastic, I think. So a product of TCC, and so it again, it's a kudo to the whole organization. But good progress there, and I think this is something that Rotary does, and I think a lot of us here are Rotary members, and you need to be proud of that from both sides of the spectrum. So, again, thank you for the participation.
Ms. Yellen?
Okay. Well, during the month of October, it was very busy, as you can tell, for all of us, and I had an opportunity to attend an event over at the Northwest Campus. It was a Dia de los Muertos, celebration of life and a family. And I'm there with, my husband is there with me as well, with some students and faculty. And it was interesting because I walked in and I said, I'm looking forward, and I mentioned, and they said, that's me. And I thought, my goodness, I thought you were a student. They're so young, some of the staff members and the professors there. But it was a wonderful event. They had lots of activities. They had, of course, some contests. They had costumes. They had food. They had a movie that talked a little bit about the importance and the significance of the event, and it was just a fun time. So thank you to the Northwest Campus for your hospitality. Had a really wonderful time there. And I'm seated there next to, if you see the little cadaver there next to me, that's called a Katrina. So she's like the Great Dame so they sat her next to me. So also during the month of October at the Trinity River campus, they hosted a Carnaval de Salud, which is a health fair, and I know that there were several other healthcare community partners that were there for the event. I know there were thousands were participating. There were physicians there and folks that were administering immunizations, and there were all sorts of healthcare resources available for the people that were in attendance. So thank you very much to Dr. Madison, Dr. Munoz, and everyone for inviting me, and then also for hosting that. It was a wonderful event. That same month, I also attended a speaker series where Dr. Monica Munoz Martinez, who's an author and she's a professor at Brown University, and she talked about the injustices that have historically occurred along the U.S. and Mexico border, and it was very, very moving, and I think that the students really took a lot from that. They were very surprised at some of the things that have occurred over the years, and there she is. She was just a wonderful speaker, so we were very lucky to have her as well. And also at the Northeast Campus, I had the opportunity to attend the opening and closing ceremonies for the Merit Badge College, which is a partnership with the Boy Scouts. It's the Longhorn Council. And the Northeast, there's some photos there, some of the students, the boys, there were almost 200 Boy Scouts that were there for 2 weekends, and what they do is they have an opportunity to earn badges en route to Eagle Scout, and they were ranging in all sorts of ages, but there were It was a wonderful event, and not only did we have the Boy Scouts, but a lot of the parents were there, and they just could not compliment Tarrant County College enough and thank us enough for the partnership that we had. And what I was told is this is the most that they've had at any of the merit badge colleges attending, and any of the ones they've ever had. So it was a wonderful event, and thank you very much to the Northeast Campus for your hospitality. I really appreciate that. And I just want to mention also, thank you to Diana for coming, Urrutia, and I think we also have Pamela Chu, who's also working on her doctoral program. She is here as well from Richland College, so thank you very much for joining us.
And we also have the guy who gave me the star that's in the picture, Mr. Tim Park, is here. He gave me a star. You know, it was in the picture, and I forgot to mention you. You were there. Thank you so much for the star. There it is. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's all I have to report.
Okay, Dr.
Thank you.
Patrick.
Well, as it has been mentioned, several of us attended the AXIS Leadership Congress, and there were a large number of really informative general and breakout sessions. Two that stand out in my mind had to do with the whole partnership theme, but also talking about building and sustaining the power of partnerships in education. And another one was from silos to student success, and talking about having a proactive and interactive model that would result in student success. And I also was witness to Chair Greenhill's presentation. I'm very proud of the presentation that he did about the legislative activities that we have been doing in this state, and people were amazed at the relationships that we have built over time and how that all works. So did a really great job. I also made a field trip out to Southeast Campus last Friday. The early collegiate high school out there was the subject of our visit. Two of my colleagues from the University of Texas at Arlington are doing research around the state about early college high schools. And so I was having a conversation with them a couple of weeks ago, and I said, have you ever been to one? You know, they're doing research, and they said, no. I said, you know, I think I could arrange for a field trip. So we went out there last Friday morning, and not only were they so impressed and so amazed at everything that was taking place out there, and they just were so excited to see a real live, I could touch the early college high school, but they asked, they said, well, if it could ever be possible, we'd like to see more. And I said, well, we'll see what we can do. But anyway, they were very impressed with the work that's being done there. So,
Justifiably so. All right. We have a number of good news reports, starting with Andre McEwing. Is he here? No, okay. I don't usually read his mail, but I've known Andre since he was not as tall as he is now. But he has been selected by the Fort Worth Business Press for the 2018 Minority Leaders in Business Awards group, and for his work here. So I'm always kidding him. The kid turned out okay, despite our best efforts. Anyway, that's going to be happening at a luncheon on December the 12th. Carlos Morales, Dr. Morales, got into the newspaper this week. He is president of the board of the new community health center on the north side. And they cut a ribbon on a very, very nice new facility, 33,000 square feet for health care in that neighborhood. Last month we heard about several awards from to the Communications, PR, and Marketing Department, Suzanne Groves and her team. And remember, we said there's maybe more to come. Well, sure enough, they've gotten a platinum award for their beautiful Reach magazine. And if you've gotten your issue this time around, you understand. 3 gold rewards for print media writing and feature by 3 of her people, Kendra Prince, Jody Wasson, and Rita Parson. And finally, an honorable mention by Kendra Prince on a feature story of family affairs. So congratulations to you and your team. Our facilities folks, Nina Petty and her team, were named, won an award, for the Smart Water Business Partner in November for for the 7th consecutive year. And as a result of this continued partnership with the city is going to be providing engineering services to the Tarrant County College District at no cost to assist in further evaluation of each of our facilities to identify additional opportunities for water conservation. So congratulations. Assistant Chief Dietrich, who's lurking in the background there. Stand up, Chief. She was part of a panel at the Fort Worth Club on workplace violence and talked about campus security, but didn't give away any of our secrets, right? Congratulations on being part of that group. And Dr. Linda Brady, are you with us tonight? There's all the way in the back. Stand up, Miss Dr. Brady. She has recently been elected chairman of a group I'd never heard of, but I know the gentleman who founded it, Mr. Lucas, and it's his organization, but she's going to be the president of the board, which is quite a, and I think you were the only woman on the board as I scrolled through the list. So congratulations, you represent us well. Lost my list. Oh, we have recently partnered with Delta Airlines for training. I think there's a photo of that in maintenance training out at the Alliance site. And so that is a very significant partnership, and we appreciate the efforts of the staff who have put that together. That'll serve all of us well. There was a story, I hope all of you saw it, front page, above the fold in the Star Telegram about the bus program that Dr. Morrison referenced, and about our students who are increasingly taking advantage of that opportunity. So we're pleased with that. That was high on Dr. Giovannini's list when we interviewed him, I remember. So mission accomplished. And speaking, oh wait, one more thing. The Texas Workforce Commission has awarded our CIE group, they're going to get this next month. Oh, great shuffle of paper here. So I can tell you exactly what it is. The Texas Workforce Commission announced that it selected Tarrant County College to receive a partnership award for community college engagement. And they will receive that award on November 28th. So congratulations to Jennifer Hawkins and her team. And finally, looking for something more to do, Miss Ayala has been appointed to the Metro T Board. So she's going to make sure all those bus passes are used wisely. So congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
And thank you, Gina, for keeping up with me. We try to get coordinated, but there's always changes, and she's over there scrolling around. Okay, let's get down to business, unless someone's thought of something they didn't say. Item number 5 on the agenda. Consideration and approval of the contract with Sewell Advisory Services for District Real Estate and Facilities Financial Construction Consultant Services in the amount of $304,980, plus a contingency of $131,120. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Dr. Evans, a second.
Second.
By Mr. Greenhill. Mrs. Petty?
Good evening. This item is our annual renewal for our third-party financial construction consultant services. You might recall, and this is in your book, and we discussed it last week at our governance meeting, that back in December 2016, the board approved financial construction consulting services to provide oversight to ensure financial integrity of assigned capital improvement projects. This was a request for proposal for a 4-year engagement, and we're going into our 3rd year, and we're bringing you a 6-month renewal term. The reason for this term is over the past year, you've been presented a larger portfolio of work that we're going to be focused on over the next probably 8 years that will possibly need to be serviced in a different way and with a different bundle of services. So the scope of this renewal is to continue the third-party oversight work for ongoing current projects that require this kind of oversight, and then give us options to look at future needs and consider our options. And we appreciate your support, and I hope you approve this contract this evening.
Questions, comments?
I do. I have some comments. Oh, thank you very much for responding to all of our questions. I really appreciate that and for clarifying several things for us. I think we have a really committed staff, and they have a lot of work going on. And so we appreciate all the work that you do in real estate and with the construction projects and things like that. So thank you first and foremost. And I know that's a challenge sometimes when you have so many facilities, and some of them might be aging infrastructure. So thank you again to all of you. Well, I understand and I appreciate the need to engage support for construction and facilities and projects and things like that. From a fiduciary and a trustee view, I would like for us to maybe utilize the time during the 6 months to maybe look at some opportunities, because I think there's some opportunities out there for us. I think we could continue the evaluation of our outsourcing strategies and see where there might be some areas where we might be able to utilize the consulting services more effectively and more efficiently. I also think that we could explore maybe from a policy perspective if there's some things that we could do to give your department the avenue to maybe look at insourcing some of that work with the appropriate people that have the appropriate qualifications to do so. I also think that we might want to look at considering where staff development opportunities may be, where we can actually look at opportunities for our folks to train and maybe get some of that information and get some complete immersion into some of the projects that are going on. So when it comes to collaborating, we can take some of that work on in-house if possible. And finally, I think that might be a good idea too, that we can look at examining where there might be some opportunities with our construction management program where we can bring them in and use that for training opportunities or just for internships or observations where they can learn about what are some of the things that go on when it comes to construction management and projects and management of facilities. So those are just some things I wanted to share that I think that are from my purview that I think are important. So.
Appreciate those comments. Thank you very
Yes.
much.
Other comments or questions?
I think those are very good comments, and thank you, Teresa, for asking those very valuable questions. I really appreciate it. And I want to make sure that somehow the real estate department just doesn't listen to what you've said. You might want to put it in writing in something or send it to somebody. I don't know how that works, but I think those are very seriously considered suggestions and should be considered and memorialized in some way so that it won't be forgotten. Thank you.
Yeah, I also want to comment, because a number of us on the board have been concerned about this in the past, as you know. And I think we're paying a considerable amount of money for these services, and I think sometimes you can get into a situation where it becomes very, very comfortable and it's easy to go to one person and get some advice. I do think there's other ways maybe to approach this, and Teresa has mentioned some of those. I think maybe we ought to also reach out maybe to some of our advisory groups that are in this particular area and see how other companies and other colleges are addressing the same situations. And I want to go ahead with this on a 6-month basis, but I really think we need to take a look at this and see how we might be able to do it more efficiently and with better effects at college level. So thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate all your comments.
All right, are you ready for the vote? All those in favor of item number 5, a 6-month contract with Sewell Advisory Services, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item number 6, consideration and approval of the final deductive change order to contract with Empire Roofing, Oklahoma, to provide roofing on hangars at CEATL on Northwest Campus, a credit in the amount of $97,369.10. Motion to approve.
I'll move to approve that.
Mr. Healy.
Second.
Second by Dr. Evans. Ms. Petty, any further comments on that? Any questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Item number 7, consideration and approval of agreement with KI for the purchase of furniture for classrooms at Trinity River Campus in the amount of $128,740.50. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Dr. Evans moves and Mr. Heed seconds. Ms. Petty?
Just want to remind you that as we discussed in the governance meeting last week, this is for furniture purchase for our partnership with Tarleton. And you did already approve that, and we're bringing this back to you because it hits the threshold of board approval, but it is part of what you've already approved in the work that we're doing on that floor. And Tarleton has represented that they were splitting that participation at 50%.
And the participation is for this kind of material as well as
Absolutely.
remodeling and so forth. Good, thank you.
Yes, it is.
Other questions, comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 9, I understand Mr. Williamson is being represented by Mr. Pacheco. And I got that close to right. Excuse me, consideration and approval of 3-year contract with AT&T for Intra-Campus Ethernet in the amount of $531,000 over a 3-year period, excuse me. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Dr. Evans. Mr. Pacheco, would you like to comment on the
Sure.
proposal?
This is a 1 gigabyte contract, 3-year contract from AT&T. And actually, what it's also given us is a great price. We've got significant savings, and it's going up to 20 of our sites across all our campuses. And in some situations, we're actually going from 400 megabytes to over a gigabit in speed. So this is a really good contract. Sorry, my first time.
Any questions? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 9, consideration and approval of purchase of the Elsevier Science Nursing Exam Preparation Package in the amount of $114,787.50. Motion to approve.
Motion to approve.
Mr. He, seconded Dr. Patrick.
This is the Elsevier test prep program for our nursing students. This is for the 2020 cohort, and it's getting preparation for the NCLEX test.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 10, consideration and approval of 3-year contract for Smart Thinking NCS Pearson online tutoring services in the amount of $315,000 spread over a 3-year period. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Dr. Evans.
Second.
Mr. Greenhill. Do you want to comment on that, please?
Yeah, this is our 24/7 online tutoring program, and we've been getting some really great responses. Our activity has been increasing, and matter of fact, Dr. Morales has been one of the key components on this, and it allows us to, obviously provide services, or tutoring services to our students. And one of the findings that we're having right now is that these students are using these things overnight. So when we're not there, they are actually utilizing this at a larger degree.
Yeah, we have discussed these in detail in the past, and I think we're all in favor of that they're beneficial. But is there any data that shows how well these are working with our students?
There is data there, and matter of fact, Dr. Morales has some of those metrics that we can probably provide to you if you need to have that.
That'd be interesting to see, yeah. And the same thing with the nursing program, because we know that's necessary, but how much does that prepare them? How many more percentage pass rate do we get, for example? I don't know if there's data on that, but.
I'm sure there actually is data on there. I can provide it to you, and we'll get back to you on that.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Just to comment, I am glad that we offer this because, as you mentioned, it gives students access to tutoring services 24 hours, around the clock. And this really helps that non-traditional student. So I am just happy to support this. This is really good.
All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, Dr. McClendon, you win the prize for the most money. Consideration and approval of 2018-19 insurance renewal with TPS-Higginbotham and AXIS-Roach, Howard Smith and Barton in the amount of an estimated amount of $1,403,934. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Mr. Greenhill, seconded by Dr. Evans.
Okay, our policies cover one fiscal year. It represents 18 policies, 17 are maintained. We had an increase from the previous year of 103K. We have our district representative. If y'all have any questions, so on any specific policy or anything.
This also includes E&O for board, I think. Is that
Yes, sir.
part of that
Yes, sir.
as
You
well?
want to come here
Yeah.
and explain it to them?
Yes, sir, that follows under our educators' legal liability insurance coverage that we have.
Okay. And there's an increase this year?
No.
There is.
And the
On that,
reason-
on that
Not on
policy?
that
No, not on that
particular-
particular thing, but
Oh,
on the whole thing.
overall increase.
On overall, and is there a reason for that?
There is, there absolutely is. And so,
always
Ms.
is.
Robinson, I'll let her, she's so eloquent, explains each and every one of them.
The massive increase basically comes from the property aspect of it, just because of the catastrophic claims that we've had across the United States over the past couple of years. So it affects us, and so our rates increase significantly. So that was the main reason for the increase.
Okay. Does part of that cover the rebuilding of our Northwest campus? Is that part of the?
Don't answer that. Don't answer that question.
I'm just gonna laugh. I
Don't
don't.
we wish? Thank you.
Is that something then we can all look for in our personal home property increases because of all
Yes,
the
yes, ma'am.
disasters?
All over.
Actually, yes.
Interesting. Thank you for coming and being with us. All right, the motion has been made and seconded. Are there any further questions or comments? All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we'll take the monthly financial report.
Financial statements, this is in our second month, and we have a budget of $375K. Our year-to-date income is 61. Total unrealized income means that we haven't received it yet, and our remaining is 313. We're about 16%, nearly 17. That's very predictable. The first months, the major income that we have is from our tuition in the fall, and then we will be receiving our property taxes come in, so that's pretty. But we thought we would also bring to you expenses, and we will bring you any expenses that's greater than 25%. That is not a BPO, a blanket purchase order, that would cover more than one period, and or something that was not an encumbrance, which by governmental accounting, it means it covers the whole year. Our digital and resource collection, they went ahead and paid for their subscriptions, and they cover the whole year. They went ahead and spent $830K, and that's why you're showing that 42%. So it benefits the whole 12. And actually, they've done a really great job because they're tied into our fiscal year. So that will benefit 12 months of usage of that subscription.
Okay. Given the volatility of the markets, and I know we're not really in the markets, but also the rise in the Fed rate, is any of this of any concern whatsoever to us?
Could I answer that on the next statement? I'll be happy
Sure.
to do that. Let's bring out the investments.
Okay.
Okay. And yeah, that is a good question. Volatility is a concern on a lot of minds, but it's not affecting TCC.
Yeah.
So our pools decrease by 13.3 mil. Now, when I say decrease, it doesn't mean that the pool is actually decreasing in value. It means that we have consumed more money out of our pools than we have brought in. And this is a very predictable thing. As we get more revenue in, then that money goes directly into the pools. And then as we have more revenue, as we receive more of our cash receipts, we will determine whether we want to take it in the pools, which give us the least amount of money, 3 to 6 months, or if we want to go into long term. So short term, we have no activity. Agencies, we have no activity. A total portfolio is. And so now let's look at, when we think about our yield, will the volatility in the market affect you? No, it will not. What will affect you is if the Fed continues increasing every quarter that rate, then what will happen is if we don't go into more long-term, you can see that on the short term, the actual rate will be higher than what we are receiving. So that would be an effect of it. Our WAM is sitting on 385 days, and the pools have a one-day WAM, our short-term, that's a 30 to 60-day, and the agencies have 1 to 5 years. So there, your question is well served, because what will happen is we have investments that are 3 to 5 years, which will have a lesser return than what the Fed is giving out now in the new, as they increase those rates.
Which is why we wanted the WAM to be lower than it had been.
Well, no, sir. I believe that if you wanted to have higher rates, you would want the WAM to go up. That would give us more ability, because right now what we have to do is on the 365-day WAM, what it does is we keep our 5-year investment into that. When we have more, that means we will move out more into, we will go into higher periods, right?
Okay, on a higher rate.
On a higher rate,
Yeah,
right. Because we, as per our PFIA, we will never sell our investment. We want it to go ahead and we will keep it until it expires naturally.
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Good, thank you.
Any other question? Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McClendon.
Thank you, Mrs. Elfman. In keeping with the theme of the board's activity over the last month, I want to just share a few thoughts in a different context, if you will. Yes, Mr. Greenhill did not follow the script, but he did cover everything, which was quite impressive. I had the opportunity to join the board at the Congress, and to have the amount of involvement, interest that we do have as a board, and even though two are not there, doesn't mean that they're not involved and interested. They certainly are. But there aren't many colleges that will have that type of commitment, if you will, in attendance. And it is noted. People will come by because we sit at the table together for general sessions and meals, and people will make that reference that it's nice that you have that type of engagement. And furthermore, one even said to me, it actually even appears that they like each other. And we can laugh about that, and that's good, but many people in the room know that is not the case at many institutions, and quite a few institutions. So the fact that they do like each other and are here for the right purpose and come together, they all have opinions, obviously, but they come together as one and representing the college is somewhat unique, and we should all recognize that and be thankful for that. So thank you.
Well, I'm glad y'all behaved while you were there. Without Dr. Morrison and me chaperoning you.
Ms.
All right.
Altman, may I
Yes,
mention two
absolutely.
things that Tarrant County College and our staff could not do the job that we do for our students without the many partnerships that the staff garners to bring to work with us. And today I was reminded of two programs that are so very important to students. And the partnership that we have with the Catholic Charities, which is the Stay the Course program. There's a program on all 5 campuses, and it is phenomenal in changing the lives of students and their families. And I was so proud to hear the young woman talk about that program today and how they're planning to increase it and grow it. One bit of sad note is that the executive director of Catholic Charities, Heather, will be leaving and going to Notre Dame to work with the program that originated that. So that's somewhat of a loss for us, but not really, because we know that she's loyal to us, and that means we just have TCC and Catholic Charities Fort Worth at Notre Dame full time. So I was really excited about that too. She is a wonderful person. The other program that's so important to so many is the Visions program that operates at South Campus, which is targets homeless students and helps them move from being homeless to having permanent places to stay. And not only that, getting their lives together. We have some who are finishing their masters, and just tremendous success stories. And so all of these agencies that, yes, we all spend out of the same public dollars, pockets, but that we work with, I just really want to compliment our staff for doubling our efforts and working with the community as a whole to help us better serve our population. Thank you, Chancellor, for encouraging that and supporting that.
All right, we will go into closed session and return with a bit of action. I don't know how long it will take, but in case you leave, don't forget to come to the next Governance Committee meeting on December 6th and the next board meeting on December 13th. And in the meantime, enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday. So we are going to go into deliberation of real property, section 551.072. Deliberation of personnel matters, section 551.074. Consultation with the attorney, section 551.071. And deliberation regarding the deployment of or special occasions for implementation of security personnel or devices, section 551.076. Get it in.
Yes. Yes, yes, ma'am, I sure will say that. I move that. Okay. I move that we accept the letter of intent from the city of Hurst for the proposed purchase of property located on the northeast campus. Aye. All right. I move that we grant the city of Fort Worth a temporary public and emergency access easement at TCCD's property located at 401 North Main Street. Aye. All right. Man, that was pretty cool, I tell you.
We are adjourned.